You better believe, and I keep on telling you. You see all these little ministries online, including myself, who points out the Catholic Church and pinpoints them online and so forth, and Walter V and all these other guys. Let me tell you something. The only reason why we're still alive today is the mercies of God, and because where she is tolerant, she is helpless. But the day the Catholic Church ever gets back the reins in her hand, a wheel and woe for all those who still oust her as that diabolical system. She is tolerant where she is helpless, but let me tell you, she is keeping a file, and guess what? It ain't a big file, because only a few of us, even within the remnant church. Wow. The average pastor who wears his orange suit and white Air Force One to church on Sabbath, he ain't saying nothing with no kind of number. That man is preaching another gospel, which is a perverted gospel. So Rome ain't worrying about them. Rome always has them under the ecumenical movement. But it's those faithful few who constantly are keeping before the people that this system needs to be resisted. They have a file on them, and I'm telling you, once America kisses the pontifical ring, it's over.
Into this video, we are gonna go over to the Wellington SDA with evangelist Carlton Knott today to share some thoughts and ideas and some perspective on the particular Bible study that he just did. I'm gonna make sure there's a link in the description below for those of you who are watching. Make sure you go and subscribe to this man YouTube channel. Among all Seventh-day Adventist pastors that I've listened to and studied with, this is my favorite. As a matter of fact, a lot of my teachings abilities, some of the ways I look at the Bible and study the Bible has been because of this man. I really appreciate his ministry. What we're going to be talking about now is the number 666, where he is studying this, but particularly the term, the vicar of the Son of God. In this video, evangelist Carlton Knott highlights this idea that many Seventh-day Adventist ministers no longer believe the original 666 definition connecting to the triple hat of the Pope. Take a listen.
Vicarious filii Dei. Historically, Adventists have always linked 666 with the three Latin words, Vicarious filii Dei. And the question is why? Now, if you've been through any Adventist prophecy seminar, or you've heard the mark of the beast being expounded upon, you will always see a chart like this. As a matter of fact, when I teach the mark of the beast, I actually have, because I use handouts, I actually have the Vicarious filii Dei omitted, and we fill in the new Latin numbers, and we get to 666. Now, it is true that when you do the mathematics, vicarious, V is 5, I is 1, C note 100, A 0, R 0, I is 1, R is 5, S is 0, F is 0, I is 1, L is 50, I and I is 1, D is 500, E is 0 and 1. You add it up, you get 666. Now again, I believe that we are correct. Now, as of lately, many have challenged this, and you're going to find that more and more evangelists, they tend to shy away from this. There's a great change have come over our church, and unfortunately, friends, that people have removed the ancient landmarks. Well, some don't do prophecy seminars anyway, so they're not even, they move the whole thing. I'm saying, forget the landmarks, they move the whole landscape, right? But again, you need to understand the backdrop behind this historical, pictorial, or triple crown, the Latin word vicarious filii Dei. We link it to 666. And I believe we are correct. Now I'm going to show you why. And again, when we think of this, we think of the man of sin. This is his number. This is the number of the beast, which is the number of a man. It ain't no Ronald Reagan. None of that foolishness. Just from a contextual, in the chapter, you have to link this man to one of the two beasts. And it can't be America. It has to be the leopard-like beast.
Have you noticed in the past couple of years or so that many of our supposed Bible prophecy studies are beginning to shift their mannerism, at least the way they identified the men of sin, the way Adventists of old used to point out the real issue with the Roman Church and actually protest against it and uplift Jesus Christ. There used to be an exposure of the men of sin, the true Protestant spirit in many of our teachings, and we'll say many of our churches, even Bible prophecy seminars, is not exactly as it used to be. This is not to say it's no longer alive. Now, there's been some things that the church has done and the Catholic Church has also done to bring about the voice of the protests, almost to a screeching halt. But now, the next point he's going to highlight is going to make an argument for the vicarious filii Dei. And listen carefully to what he says. Not only is going to show this from our own writings, but he's also going to show this from Roman Catholics' writings as well. Take a listen.
Right? But again, you need to understand the backdrop behind this historical pictorial or triple crown, the Latin word vicarious filii Dei. We link it to 666. And I believe we are correct. Now I'm going to show you why. And again, when we think of this, we think of the man of sin. This is his number. This is the number of the beast, which is the number of a man. It ain't no Ronald Reagan. None of that foolishness. Just from a contextual in the chapter, you have to link this man to one of the two beasts. And it can't be America. It has to be the leopard-like beast. Right now. All right now. So let's get the back. Let's see how and why we've come to the concept of linking 666, number of a man, right, to vicarious filii Dei, the Latin word. And what does vicarious filii Dei have to do with anything? Anyway, I'm saying, watch it now. Please read now. Note now, historically,
Seventh-day Adventists have long believed, preached, and taught that the 666 of Revelation 13:18 represents vicarious filii Dei, and that it was irrefutably a papal title, using the donation of Constantine.
That's important now. Using the donation of Constantine, and that vicarious filii Dei contains virtually the same meaning as the Greek compound word antichrist, antichristos. So within our historical framework, we came across the documentation of the mission of Constantine. And within that document, within that article, we find some incriminating words. When we do the math in Latin, we get 666. So again, I don't want you to lose focus of the Domitian of Constantine, which was a historical event that happened within the early part of Christianity. Right now, question 5 says now what does donation of Constantine say? Because it was in this document, there was a phrase and we said, oh my gosh, we got it. And from that now we build and we begin to massage and expound upon this. Now again, remember what I said, the 666 is tied to Latin vicarious filii Dei. Now, in the documents I'm going to read, we're looking for a phrase vicarious, which is vicarious. Now this is what the Domitian of Constantine. Now I'm reading from the book entitled On the Domitian of Constantine by Lorenzo Vale. He's capturing what happened in that session right now. So now please read now. This is what it says now on page 13.
As the blessed Peter is seen to have been constituted vicar of the Son of God.
All right. Focus on that phrase, vicar of the Son of God. Peter, that's the phrase, vicar, vicarious. Vicarious filii Dei. Vicarious. Please read now.
On the earth, so the pontiffs, who are the representatives of that same chief of the apostles, should obtain from us and our empire the power of a supremacy greater than the clemency of our earthly imperial serenity, as seen to have conceded it.
All right, so it was from this documentation that the phrase vicar of the Son of God appeared. Now, in 1439, this is important now, I'm going to quote an official declaration from the Council of Florence. It happened in Florence, Italy, in 1413, 1439, we're still within the Dark Ages. We're actually in noon of the Dark Ages, midway in the 1798, right? Now, please read now. This is what it says now. Again, we're looking for this phrase, Vicar of God. Please read now.
Here is the official declaration of the Council of Florence. We define that the Holy Apostolic See and the Roman Pontiff holds the primacy over the whole world, and that the Roman Pontiff himself is a successor of the Blessed Peter, Prince of the Apostles, and the true Vicar of Christ, the head of the whole Church and the Father and Doctor of all Christians, and that to him in the Blessed Peter was given by our Lord Jesus Christ full power to feed, rule, and govern the universal Church, as is contained also in the Acts of the Ecumenical Councils and in the sacred canons.
Boy, that word gives me a headache. Every time I hear ecumenical, Lord, I get it. And it's more and more prominent today, within the black worship service, within our churches. Ecumenicalism is full noon now. It's no longer a bud, it's a full plant bearing fruits. And it ain't going anywhere anytime soon.
Mercy.
Unfortunately. Now, notice it said now, the Roman Pontiff, and again there is an allusion to Peter because they believe that Peter was the first pope. And Peter was never a Roman Catholic. Neither Mary. Now, how they deify Peter thought that Peter left Judaism, became a Christian, and somehow left Christianity and became a Catholic. Peter was not a Catholic. Peter died a Christian, converted from Judaism. He never even went to Rome. But I don't know how they get that. But Peter to them was the first pope. And the text they use is in Matthew where Jesus says, upon this rock I'll build my church. But you have Petra and Petros. It couldn't be upon Peter because Peter was overcome in the Garden of Gethsemane. Peter cursed God. So if he had built his church upon Peter, guess what? Upon this rock, Petro, upon these words, I am the Christ, I will build my church. The statement. Now, I mean, we could expound upon that a lot more, but he didn't build his church upon Peter. He built his church upon himself and the declaration that he was the Christ.
Okay. Just to go back to vicar, when I hear that word vicar or what's on their crown, it makes me think of the English word vicarious.
Vicarious.
Like substitute.
Substitute.
So by taking on the title, they're saying that Peter, the man Peter, was the substitute Christ on earth when Christ left.
Yeah.
And then they now somehow affiliate themselves in the lineage of Peter. And when Peter died, now they get that title of being the substitute of Christ on earth.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a sub. I do sub work now and then. And when you sub, you're not the teacher, you take the place of the teacher. So they are the substitute, the vicar, Christ representative after Peter. You know what I'm saying? Which is not even scriptural anyway, right? Now, but my point is, you're going to notice that as way back as 1439, the title Vicar of Christ is in their publication and is always tied to the Pope from Peter.
But now, didn't Christ say the Holy Spirit was what he
definitely.
He was going to say?
He says, I'll not leave you comfortless in John. I will give another comforter like himself, which is the Holy Ghost. Now, we believe that the vicar or the successor of Christ on earth is the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
Right? He is the vicar of Christ, right? All right, now, so in 1439, we find the word vicar of Christ. Now, in 1862, a noted Catholic wrote this: the highest power in the world, the vicar of the incarnate Son of God, sat on his tribunal, referring to the Pope. So again, whenever you see, they didn't hide this. It was in their publication, vicar, because I'm hidden somewhere, right? Now, Cardinal Manning, born in 1808, died in 1892, was a prolific defender of Catholicism, right? Later in the book, he said this. Look what he said now, right? Please read now.
So in like manner they say now, See this Catholic Church, this Church of God, feeble and weak, rejected even by the very nations called Catholic. There is Catholic France and Catholic Germany and Catholic Italy, given up this exploded figment of the temporal power of the vicar of Jesus Christ. And so, because the church seems weak and the vicar of the Son of God is renewing the passion of his master upon earth, therefore we are scandalized. Therefore we turn our faces from him.
Again, over and over, whenever you see the word vicar, it's not applied to any other man, any other institution, but the Pope and the church. Very, very important. So we've given you ample statements that they have used it in times past to refer to the Pope. Remember, 666 in Latin, Adventists have equated to Vicarius Filii Dei. Now,
another point that I want to point out is I have noticed many Roman Catholics, at least popes, they no longer wear that tiara. They no longer wear it as they used to. And I wanted to know, why has this been the case? Well, in this presentation, Evangelistic Carlton Knott exposes why this is the case. And friends, buckle up your seatbelt.
so why is it now that we haven't seen the last 5 popes have taken it off? Question now, why don't we see more current popes wearing the triple crown? It's because of this now. Please read now. In 1941 now, there was a great denial by the Catholic Church, and they sought to get rid of all those publications and erase them from history. But they couldn't. That thing went viral. I'm saying, boy, they couldn't get it back. Now, please read now. Our Sunday, the same publication now. Please read now.
The 1941 denial, our Sunday visitor has, for over 100 years, been the largest Roman Catholic weekly in America. In its August 3rd, 1941 issue, the visitor declared for the first time that Vicarius Filii Dei is not on the Pope's tiara.
But we just read it.
Yeah.
We read it and we read it and we read it and we read it. Now, why? Because you see, they were getting heat. From who? From a group of people called Adventists. And they were, they would go from town to town with these big tents and preaching, and they had these big charts, and you're counting the letter, vicar, and the heat was on them. So they had to find a way now to kind of ease off the heat. Now, by this time, they had already come up with 2 views of Revelation: the preterist view that puts the Pope in the future after the Antichrist, the rapture, right? And the preterist view that says prophecy ran until pagan Rome. So pagan Rome, Nero had to be the Antichrist. So one put the Antichrist in the past, one puts him in the future. So in the dark ages, there's a gap theory. There's no Catholic Church. There was no man of sin. So both views took the heat off the Catholic Church. Now look what this wicked system said now in that same publication about the Vicarius Filii Dei. Now please read now.
A pamphlet has come to me entitled The Mark of the Beast.
This is the author now. Now I wonder who was preaching the Mark of the Beast at that time frame. You see, they know who we are, you know.
Of course.
You better believe, and I keep on telling you. You see all these little ministries online, including myself, who points out the Catholic Church and pinpoints them online and so forth, and Walter V and all these other guys. Let me tell you something. The only reason why we are still alive today is the mercies of God, and because where she is tolerant, she is helpless. But the day the Catholic Church ever gets back the reins in her hand, a wheel and woe for all those who still oust her as that diabolical system. She is tolerant where she is helpless. But let me tell you, she is keeping a file. And guess what? It ain't a big file because only a few of us, even within the remnant church.
Wow.
The average pastor who wears his orange suit and white Air Force One to church on Sabbath, he ain't saying nothing with no kind of number. That man is preaching another gospel, which is a perverted gospel. So Rome ain't worrying about them. Rome always has them under the ecumenical movement. But it's those faithful few who constantly are keeping before the people that this system needs to be resisted. They have a file on them, and I'm telling you, once America kisses the pontifical ring, it's over. Now look what they say now. It identifies the
Pope with his mark referred to in Revelation
13,
17 and 18.
Uh-huh.
It is too bad that the Seventh-day Adventists,
Yes.
who are so sensitive to criticism themselves, should circulate a pamphlet so antagonistic to the Catholic Church.
So hear me now. So the shift in taking the Vicarious Filii Dei off the Roman Catholic Church was a response to the heat. I mean, they were getting it, man, like, yo, left, right, center. Like, everywhere they go, there was a tent being preached up. And bear in mind, you must understand, the winds were about to be let loose.
Them three angels' messages.
Christ could have came in that dispensation. The mark of the beast was being agitated. It wasn't, Jones had gone before Congress. So it wasn't like they knew that the end was coming. They had to do something now to take the heat off.
This one here is news for me. The 1941 denial. That is interesting. The same Sunday Visitor that actually acknowledged this title, Vicarious Filii Dei, as a result of denying it, Seventh-day Adventists speaking against it, they no longer claim this title. But again, there's documents you can find, even online, of Vicarious Filii Dei. It is still a school of thoughts today. I also want to respond to the second claims that he made regarding how the church knows exactly who we are, right? Who are the people who's been preaching and exposing the Romish church as the Antichrist power. I have spoken before about what the Catholic Church has done during the Counter-Reformation with the Jesuits. They brought about some school of thoughts, preterism and futurism. This was meant to bring about confusion.
Now look what they said now in that same publication. Please read now the question.
What year is this now?
This is in 1941.
Okay, still 1940.
41 now, right? Ellen White has passed off the scene, and the Adventist Church is steady. Things are a little compromised here and there, but they're still steady on track. Now, please read. He said now the question.
The question you ask has been answered many times, although not in recent years in this paper. If we have recourse to the best biblical scholars or exegetes, exegetes,
yes.
we find them applying the test from Revelations to Nero.
Stop there. And that, remember, you must understand, you see, there's two ways to fight fire. You can use water, which is the natural way, or you can use or a substance, right, to fight it, or you can use the second way, which is called controlled burn, which uses a fire. So you can use fire to fight fire. The Catholic Church realized that it was scholarship that were ousting them, so they had to use scholarship. They had to come up with a unique system of interpreting revelation. So through the Jesuit Loyola, he got two scholars, Francisco Ribera and the other one, Luis Alcazar. Both men were employed by the Jesuits, who were employed by the Catholic Church, to come up with a unique system of interpreting revelation that will take the heat of the Catholic Church. So Ribera, Alcazar, I think, came up with the preterist view. And so he puts revelation from the time of Christ to pagan Rome. So when pagan Rome fell, prophecy stopped. So all that were applied to the Catholic Church had their fulfillment in Nero. So Nero was the Antichrist. It takes it off Rome. Now, that was adopted by the few, but then the one that took the world by a storm was the futurist view that says the Antichrist will not appear until after the rapture. He will rebuild Jerusalem. And that is the pre-tribulation rapture concept. You see it in Left Behind movie, and that came out of the university. I forgot the name of it, tip of my head, but that is the popular view that gave birth to Jay Jenkins and Tim LaHaye, the Left Behind concept. You see, That is the popular view. Now, what both view does, they take the shape of the Catholic Church. One put the prophecy in the past to Nero, and that's what they're saying. And the other is when the rapture takes place. So based on them, is there any Antichrist now?
No.
No 666 now. The only person who are toting that horn is those ecumenical Adventists. And half of them don't believe anyway. No. And this is the backdrop. That's why you'll never find a prominent evangelical on Daystar, on TBN, or Word Network give this kind of spin on it. If they do speak on the 666, them way off in left field. And they always apply it to the Antichrist who will come after the rapture. But based on their calculation, there's no 666, no Antichrist, no man of sin, no dark ages, no nothing. Rome did that.
In that book, Steele Woolberg, I was looking for my book here. I don't know where I put it. I think it's upstairs. Steele Woolberg exposes the entire history of what he calls the virus that has penetrated the Christian world and literally killed the protests. It's like control burning, right? They went ahead and burned off parts of the land, and when the fire continues, it has no more lands to catch. But the fact of the matter is, Pastor Steele Woolberg also argued this idea, and I plan on doing an entire study on this, that the historicism view of prophetic interpretation, once it is once again proclaimed in its rightful place, it will expose the men of sin for what it really is. Evangelist Carlton Knott highlights something that is very crucial. He speaks about how the Catholic Church knows exactly who we are.
You better believe, and I keep on telling you. You see all these little ministries online, including myself, who points out the Catholic Church and pinpoints them online and so forth, and Walter V and all these other guys. Let me tell you something. The only reason why we're still alive today is the mercies of God, and because where she is tolerant, she is helpless. But the day the Catholic Church ever gets back the reins in her hand, a wheel and woe for all those who still oust her as that diabolical system. She is tolerant where she is helpless. But let me tell you, she is keeping a file. And guess what? It ain't a big file because only a few of us, even within the remnant church.
Wow.
And I want to go back to this. It is true, my dear friends, that they know exactly who we are, as it is said here. Because we have freedom of speech in this country and freedom of religion. Today, this is not a major problem to speak this way, but I think there's going to be a time making videos like this is going to warrant a death decree, right? It is not going to be difficult to find the few ministers who are still sounding the alarm against the men of sin. And I will say our ministry is one of them. But the time is going to come where doing something like we are doing today is going to be outlawed. But anyway, friends, until then, we're going to keep speaking. We're going to keep preaching. We're going to keep protesting. We're going to keep uplifting Jesus and expose the men of sin until we cannot do it anymore. But nevertheless, friends, thank you so much for listening. I'm going to make sure there's a link in the description of this video. Listen to the man's message. Powerful stuff right here. I don't want to say any more than that. You need to go follow this man. Study with this man because he will enlighten your eyes and he's balanced, okay? He is balanced, and that's my guy, man. That's my guy. All right, until next time, have a good one. Bye.